What do all these...
G'day folks, welcome to another edition of The Racing Show. It's just terrific to have your company wherever you're watching around this great nation of ours. And down south of the border today is Old Ockie, Simon O'Donnell, who joins us now. He was at Caulfield yesterday, backing winners left, right and centre, I'm told.
Oh, no, I didn't really back winners left, right and centre. I had a bit of luck in Sydney with tripping, actually, John. But, look, it's been a great week. We're very fresh because there hasn't been midweek races and not the big build-up to the carnivals, but still plenty of good racing around.
Hey, Simon, that rail was out a hell of a long way yesterday. 15 metres, I believe it was a Caulfield record.
It was a Caulfield record, and 15 metres it was out. I think that's... they've only had a couple of meetings there now on the new track, but they've definitely seen all of it.
Well, Shane Dye got out of Sydney yesterday. He was at the big meeting at Doomben. He had only one ride, Flight to Fantasy in the Foster's Cup. First question, Shane, the jockeys reacted rather vehemently to the state of the track after the running of the first event. Were you there by that stage? Just how unhappy were they?
I got there after the second, John, and the track was very, very wet, very, very heavy. 50% of the jockeys wanted to ride and 50% didn't, so they went to the stewards and the stewards decided to continue the race meeting, and luckily there was no falls and it was a good day's racing.
Good day for your old mate Mick. 2 out of 2.
Back in form, 2 rides, 2 wins, sensational jockey, and he will continue to ride many a winner over the carnival.
I know you're a great fan, you always have been. Let's have a look at Mick Dittman winning on this remarkable horse. Talk about horses for courses. 12 lifetime wins, every one of them have been on the Doomben track as we pick up the action in the Foster's Cup.
Monopolise right up to it. They're racing now. Near the inside, Moss Rocket the first to go, but quickly pounced on by Chief De Beers, and Modicum is going very fast in the early part. Then Mamselle, Padrille and Flight to Fantasy, followed by You Remember, Coburger midfield. Gold Ace getting back a fraction, followed by Loader, Country Lane, Encores, and last of all, Monopolise. Into the straight and Chief De Beers. He's out about 15 horses, but he's raced to the front, Chief De Beers. He's in front of Moss Rocket, Gold Ace near the fence, and Monopolise running home, but Chief De Beers dash well clear past the 200. Monopolise and Gold Ace running home, but Chief De Beers in front with 50 metres to go. He's a fair dinkum wizard in the wet, Chief De Beers. He's getting a bit tired, but he's won the money. Chief De Beers beat the fast finishing Monopolise, third Gold Ace.
Well, your mare, Flight to Fantasy, she did 3 or 4 different things in that race. Early, she appeared to over-race. At the 800, you were off the bit and scrambling. And at the 600, I thought I saw her dip rather badly. Is that right?
She did, John. She dipped in the going quite badly. She over-raced early, and it was a very, very good run. But I thought the run of the race was Gold Ace. I got behind him at the 600 metres, and he got into quite a bit of trouble, and he wasn't handling the track, and I'm sure he's going to be the horse to beat in the Doomben 10,000.
Chief De Beers, Mick took a punt going via the Cape on the turn. He couldn't have got much wider, but it paid off. But, gee, it looked like winning easily and then just fell in.
I remember last year in the Stradbroke, he looked like winning and he hit a dead spot, you know, and he stopped rather quickly, but it was an outstanding win. And if he gets a wet track in the Doomben 10,000 2 weeks' time, he's again going to be very hard to beat.
Absolutely. Mick's other winner yesterday was on Kidman's Cove, which after a Sydney stint is now back with Mick Mayer at Caloundra. And on the turn, I wouldn't have given you 50 to 1 Kidman's Cove. You watch the way he's struggling in about 5th place as they come around the corner.
Racing, Trinity Lane bounded out from the inside gate. He led early from Mr. Goblin Sky Capers. Carolina's Music rushing up to join the leader, followed by Kidman's Cove and Mr. Rogers on the outside as last. They turn the corner. Trinity Lane, the leader, about a neck to Carolina's Music, who won't go away. Mr. Rogers next on the outside from Sky Capers and Kidman's Cove. Trinity Lane in front at the 200. Now Kidman's Cove is starting to rev up, and he's getting through from Carolina's Music and Mr. Rogers, but Kidman's Cove burst through in the middle to take the lead. He got away from Carolina's Music and Mr. Rogers, and Kidman's Cove has gone home to beat Mr. Rogers out wide and Carolina's Music.
Yes, he turned what appeared to be certain defeat into victory, with Mick Dittman throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him over the last 150 metres. What about the Guineas, Simon, the Queensland Guineas?
Yeah, look, just going back to Kidman's Cove, I'd be... you would have had to have been very disappointed if that horse didn't win yesterday. I think it was the class horse, the form horse of the field, and it wouldn't have a great winter carnival up in Brisbane, I don't think, if it won yesterday. And just going back to Mick too, Uncle Mick, he does throw everything bar the kitchen sink at them. Never forget that ride on Falante in the Derby, as much as Occy won the race and won it very well. His ride on Falante, I thought, was nothing short of perfect, and in any other year I think he would have won a Derby on Falante. He's still riding all right. He'll be around for a while.
Shane, Classy Fella going to be your ride in the Queensland Guineas?
Yeah, I'll ride Classy Fella in the Queensland Guineas, and he'll be hard to beat, but no doubt the horse to beat is Flying Spur.
Yeah.
His win was outstanding 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But just a bit on Mick. As from Tuesday, he'll be riding work in Brisbane, because I'll be up there and I'll be getting him up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he won't know what struck him, because he's not too good at getting up in the morning.
I'll have a little bet with you. If it's a rainy morning, you won't get him out.
I will. He's got to drive me to the track.
Haven't you heard of Cab's little fella?
It's too far from the Gold Coast to Brisbane. That'd be about $100.
Oh, we're on the Gold Coast, are we?
Okay. We better throw to a break on the racing show, and as we go out of this segment, you'll see Tarradoo beating Juggler in last year's Queensland Guineas.
And Brave Warrior wide around, and Ivory's Irish getting a split inside the 200. Tarradoo, Don Pasquale, Juggler, Brave Warrior, and Ivory's Irish got cut out. Tarradoo's just in front of Juggler. Tarradoo and Juggler. Tarradoo's going to outstay them, and Tarradoo wins the Guineas.
Thursday.
Town left them floundering at the 200. He's raced about 3 in front of Double Century. The others are struggling, headed by Marlborough, then Pagal, but fair dinkum, this is another Tulloch. Another Tulloch for sure. Kingston Town is going to run out a very easy winner in the Cup.
I just love to keep reminding myself how great he was, how invincible he was, the mighty Kingston Town. That was the Sydney Cup of 1980, and that impressionable young caller, never prone to exaggerated statements, declared that he was another Tulloch. Simon, isn't that a funny thing?
Yes, that is. I find it a very funny thing, because next week behind me, instead of the Yarra River, I'm going to have a big, big picture of Octagonal and keep reminding you week after week after week.
Well, Horology is neither Octagonal nor Kingston Town, but he's a pretty smart horse, as he proved in winning a 1,500-metre welter yesterday at Rosehill Gardens. Well today. The gates open. Praise Indeed is last to leave the machine. He was a bit flat-footed. Horology bounded out in front. The rider of Fleet Mirage is anxious to lead, and Recalcitrant's quickly kicking up on the inside of them. Just behind those, Destruct, followed by Lust for Luck. Over the Rising, easing back to be midfield, and then Castle Song. Pentas second last, and back at the tail, Praise Indeed after that slow start. Horology has Fleet Mirage struggling. In fact, Horology kicked away, coming to the 200 mark. He put about 3 lengths on him. Horology dashed away from Fleet Mirage. Recalcitrance, a little Lust for Luck. If there is a danger, he might be the one, but there's no danger. Horology clear inside the 100. Lust for Luck is getting home gamely, but Horology far too good, and won easily over Lust for Luck. Over the Rising third, then... Very impressive win. That made it 7 out of 14 for that horse, Horology, who's now running in the Tamworth Cup.
Outstanding win, John. Now, what about the track yesterday? There seemed to be a big bias down the outside, and a couple of people told me last night that they actually rolled the inside of the course proper. Was that true? Before Horology's race?
Well, I didn't notice, to be honest, but if they did, they should do it more often.
Yeah, well, it helped the inside horses then.
Absolutely. Now, race 8 yesterday was won by a horse called Kidlat, who's a 3-year-old. He too has an impressive record. He's won 5 out of 9. Glenn Boss was happy to let him cruise along 3 deep, and when he went to them in the straight, he just put pay to them very, very quickly. Here's the action.
Off
off and running and very slow. Night After, who seemed to jump all right but dug in the toes and went straight back to the tail. The Boss bounded out in front of Dunmore. Dark Trump is away quickly. Kidlat is rapidly into a handy spot, and Flaming Hot is coming over fast from a wide gate. Kidlat to the extreme outside has been saved for the last run by Glenn Boss, and here he comes at the 200 mark, and Kidlat on the outside has raced to the front. Little Lucifer getting the rails, runners coming home well, but Kidlat as clear as they get near home over Little Lucifer and Flaming Hot, and Kidlat beautifully ridden is too good. Kidlat beat Little Lucifer, Flaming Hot third, followed by Zavinza.
That horse raced in blinkers yesterday. Kidlat on the advice of Shane Dye, who rode him at his previous start. Glenn Boss rode 2 winners yesterday. That was the second of them. In this interview with Kenny Callender, he talks about the first of his double, an impressive 2-year-old called Our Banker.
Not too many 2-year-olds win these days with big weights, but Our Banker did the job for you yesterday, Glenn.
Yeah, he's a very impressive type of horse too, and he done a good job. The race was not running to suit him at all. They come home in about 33.9, and he's probably given 4 lengths start at the 600, so his time, his sexuals must have been incredible. But I definitely think this horse could develop into a Derby type of horse as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, it's definitely a future for him, eh?
Oh, he's an impressive type of horse.
What about G-Boss off to Brisbane now for the carnival?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting up there and getting amongst it. So it's very wet up there at the moment, unfortunately, but no, I'm keen to get up there and hopefully catch a few more Group 1s.
Hope there's a few sprint buys up there for you.
Yeah, unfortunately he's not going there this year, but hopefully there'll be another one there for me.
Thank you, Glenn.
All the best. Cheers.
There was an incident in Our Banker's race that went unnoticed to a lot of people because the horse was well back off the lead. A horse called With My Hands, ridden by apprentice Nathan Stanley. See the horse running 5th in the white colours? Now watch him lose his legs. He must have shied at something. But when these jockeys ride so short and a horse just goes from under them, they can't stay on. Geez, I hope one doesn't shoot sideways with you, mate.
I'll go straight over the side, but I think he might have hit it. And when you hit a horse sometimes a bit low, they don't like it and they run straight away. And that happens quite a bit.
OK, Ken Callender, of course, has his observations about Chief De Beers. We've already discussed the horse. Let's see what he thinks about this crackerjack Queensland sprinter.
Thanks, John. Today, I'd like to talk about Chief De Beers. What a horse and what an enigma. Yesterday, he won the Foster's Cup at Doomben, and that was his 12th win. And he's now won $800,000 in prize money. But the funny thing is, you take Chief De Beers away from Doomben, and he's a different horse. He's trained over the road at Eagle Farm. He's never won there. As a matter of fact, he's never won anywhere else but Doomben. And at Doomben, he's never been out of a place. He won the Doomben 10,000 last year, the biggest race at the track. He's going to run in it again in a few weeks, and he could easily make it 2 in a row. Even if he doesn't win the 10,000, I guarantee if you keep backing Chief De Beers, you'll be able to pay for plenty of De Beers. And racing here at Rosehill yesterday, well, what was the ride of the day? I think it was Grant Cooksley in the first race on Billy Boston. The run of the day, Horology. Admittedly, the race was run to suit him yesterday, but he's got more wins in store, this horse, and he'll make into a very useful galloper. The flop of the day, well, I think it was the first favourite, Beachcomber. Thanks, John.
Good on you, Keno. I happened to be watching a race at Caulfield yesterday on the closed circuit monitors, and by crikey, I was impressed with the winner, Simon, Sir Boom.
So you should have been, and he's a local horse too, John, from Deniliquin, trained by Mel Hutchins up at Denny, and congratulations to all the connections up there. He was in race 5 at Caulfield yesterday. The rail was out 15 metres. Sir Boom was very impressive. Let's have a look at him.
Ben Chaffee, they're off and running here. Belzever jumped nicely to the inside, was quickly headed by Pitcairn Edition, and Sir Boom began well also, and just in behind them Rubidium being followed by Shy Statter, and Zamanui a bit further back in the field being followed by Cobra Calder, and dropping out to last Ascetic Ruler, over where Sir Boom over on the outside has raced up to hit the front from Pitcairn Edition, who fought back over on the inside. Then Belzever and Ascetic Ruler finishing on, followed by Shy Statter. Rubidium will run nearly last, but Sir Boom has dashed well clear in the final stages, has got it shot to pieces. Shysted coming home when the race is all over, followed by Ascetic Ruler, but Sir Boom overdue for a win and gets it today, and Sir Boom wins it by 3 lengths to Shysted. Ascetic Ruler third along.
Yes, it was a good win, and we'll hear a lot more of Sir Boom. There's one other horse down here yesterday, John, that we'll hear a lot more of, and it's Centigo. It's trained by John Sadler out at Flemington. It's going to Adelaide for some of the big races over there. Keep a real good eye on it.
OK, Simon, we're going to pause now on the racing show. When we come back, it'll be my pleasure to introduce live in the studio a jockey who turned post-race jubilation into an art form in the autumn of 1994.
Pharaoh coming down the outside, might tip them all out. Kingston Bay, Pharaoh to Lesto, getting up on the inside of the law, close to Lesto. Goes for home on Pharaoh. Look at Auntie Mary. Auntie Mary out of the packers, thundering home. Too late. Pharaoh makes it. 2 Doncasters on the trot.
I had a perfect night. Never going to lose, actually. Never going to lose, Jock.
That wasn't as animated as 1994. Yes, Gavin Eads is back. He resumes track work at Randwick tomorrow morning. He's been doing quite a few things for the last 12 months other than race riding. I thought he might look a little bit like Mickey Rooney sitting in that chair this morning, but you don't. You look pretty fit.
Did you miss me?
I did. Of course we missed you.
Yes, well, an unfortunate chain of events, of course, incurred me a 12-month suspension, but I'm back at track work on Wednesday. And looking forward just to, you know, get back in the saddle, really.
What have you been doing the last 12 months?
Well, I got married to my lovely wife, Odette. I've done a little bit of travelling, did a little bit of travelling in Asia, and I've also taken up golf, so apart from that, not much.
Gavin, have you missed the riding?
I've missed riding, yes, tremendously, yes, yes.
Gavin, you've got about 6 weeks to go. What's you got to get yourself race fit for that 6 weeks, other than your track work riding? We hear a lot about cricketers and footballers. What's a jockey got to do after a 12-month layoff?
Well, Simon, I'll be just getting back into the main routine of track work and walking after track work and a little bit of sauntering. I do a bit of training in the afternoons. Apart from walking at golf, I'll be punching the bag and doing all that sort of stuff. So once I get back riding work, I'll probably start to muscle up a bit, and I've got to be careful of that. Actually, this week was the first time that I broke 57 kilos for the last year, so I'm 56.5 now. The first few weeks of track work, I'll probably start muscling up a bit, which is when I'll have to be careful. And now the last 6 weeks, well, I'll get on a really strict diet and no more beers.
You set yourself a pretty high standard, of course, last time in. And it's going to be quite a claw back, isn't it, particularly in Sydney, where it's such tough opposition.
Yes, though, although from hearing from a few trainers, they're pretty keen to have me back, and I don't think it'll be that hard. I don't think Moses hasn't had much of a problem, and I think in general trainers would rather have you tipping the horses and have that confidence sort of thing. So, look, I don't think it'll be much of a
Will you be going to Randwick to ride work, or to Rosehill, or both?
I'll go to Rosehill and ride work on Mondays for Jack Denham, and probably Saturday as well, and then spend the rest of the mornings at Randwick.
Gavin, what sort of weight do you expect to come back at it in 6 weeks? 52, 53?
No, yeah, 53 will be the lightest I'll come back at it, and I'll slowly work down gradually, Simon, to 52, 52.5. I'll just weigh it up with about a week to go, and I may only ride 54 for the first few weeks. But, I'll just see. I'll let my body tell me what I can do and what I can't do with it.
I like to describe you as the master of spontaneity. And that's a cliche that came to my mind when I watched you come back to scale on Pharaoh after winning the first of your 2 Doncasters. Actually, this is after the Sydney Cup that you won on Cross Swords. That's more like it.
Well, now I've done it. I've got to do it all the time. They scream out, do the dance, do the dance. So, and I'm not keen to go into all that sort of stuff again, but they'll probably rev me up and get me going again.
Yeah.
I might find a few tricks yet.
Gavin, is that a major thing that keeps you going, that spontaneity, that enthusiasm of winning races such as Group 1 races? Can you get some sort of level the same as that in normal Saturday racing or midweek racing?
Oh, of course, Simon. Any just like cricket or football, any race is nice to win, and every winner leads on to another one, and that's what you get paid for, riding winners, simple as that.
And finally, Simon, your old mate has been retired. He just didn't find his form this autumn, Pharaoh.
Yeah, it was quite depressing seeing him running down the track time after time after time again. but they continued to race him, and well, he's happily retired now in a paddock, and that's it. I'd just like to send while we're here, a bit of a cheerio to a friend of mine and Simon's, Trevor Barker's family. Of course, passed away through the week. I think the first time I met Simon was that Trevor was having a benefit for Simon when he was ill. So condolences to the Barker family in Melbourne. It's a terrible shock to us all.
Good luck to you, son.
Thanks, Taffy.
Hope you're back in the winner's circle soon.
Thanks, Slippers.
The one and only Gavin Eads, who resumes track work riding at Randwick on Wednesday, and in 6 weeks' time he'll be back sporting silk as we take this break on The Racing Show. With the spring come the newborn foals, and with them the hopes, dreams and aspirations of thousands of owners around Australia. Hey boys, it's tight. I want a horse to watch. Simon, from you firstly.
I'll give you 2, Monopolise, Gold Ace.
Shane.
I'll give you 2, Entertainer, Gold Ace.
You liked Entertainer's win in Sydney?
Going to be a very good stayer, I think.
It was too short for him, and he still won.
Still won.
Well, while all the good ones are away, I'm picking a big grey horse called Dayton, who carries the Lone Star colours. He'll win a 2-year-old race in Sydney, as sure as God made little apples. Okay, that takes us away from another edition of The Racing Show. Thanks for being